Hi, ladies and baddies. Hello, focus. It's been a hot minute, a hot second, and I've missed you. I feel like I've already said that, but I've missed you a lot. Today I'll be raving because I'm discussing something that is near and dear to my heart that brings me such profound joy. I'll be talking about my favorite books. Hey, it's May, the girl whose only personality trait is that she reads. I feel like the girl who at the end of the movie removes her glasses because then, and only then, is she beautiful. Actually, let me try that. Am I pretty yet? Enough garrulousness, okay? Let's be serious. Let's talk about books, baby. I've compiled a list of books that I've read this year that I absolutely loved.
Yeah, get into it!
One of Us is Lying by McManus. If you've been here for a while, you know I'm obsessed with this book. My friend Nicole actually recommended this to me. Hi Nicole, if you're watching. Nicole has a blog, by the way. But anyways, that's besides the point. When I began reading it, to be honest, I felt like it was riddled with cliches, and I didn't particularly love that. However, I was avoiding an assignment, and in the end, procrastination always wins. So I continued to read it. And I can honestly tell you, it immediately grabbed a hold of me. Like, y'all, I was hesitant to eat pasta because of this book. Pasta. Me. Are you understanding the gravity of the situation? I wanted to finish this book at the expense of pasta. That's how good it was. So what is this book about? Now that I have watered your appetite. It follows 4 high school students, all suspects in a murder investigation. Yeah, it's that kind of book. I think it does a fantastic job of dangling each of the characters as suspects. Personally, I don't think it's possible for a reader to consistently stick to a particular suspect throughout the whole book. At each and every turn, you're like, ooh. I think the book's ability to keep the readers on their toes works really well because then it keeps you really engaged with the story. So read it. Anyways, let's segue smoothly into the next book. Number 2, I'm thinking of ending things. Between you and me, it's not working out. I'm sorry. No, I'm kidding. That's just the title of the book. I gotcha. I'm thinking of ending things is a book written by
Iain.
Reid, I believe is how you pronounce it. Now, as you can tell, I'm not holding a book with me right now. That is because it was an ebook. What? See, that is how much I wanted to read this book. Let me tell you about it. I watched the movie, you know, the one directed by Charlie Kaufman, and I absolutely loved it. It makes you sit down and think, huh? That's how you know it's a good movie. So after watching it and loving it, I resolved to read the book that it was based on. But the problem was, I scoured, and I was not finding this book anywhere. So in my desperation, despite my aversion to soft copy books, I decided to download the darn thing, and I read it. Of course, I finished it in a day because I have no life. Anyway, so I read the book, and I think you should read it too. It's so good. It's so rich with symbolism and the imagery and ciao. Let me just tell you about the book, okay? So it's written in the first person, and the main character is a woman who is thinking of ending things with her boyfriend, Jake. I don't know what to say without spoiling it. Okay, so this couple, they are driving to meet Jake's parents. And it is on that drive that we read her thoughts and see their dynamic as a couple. I really could just go on about this book. I would love to fully analyze the imagery and the themes. Should I create a vlog? I just might. Anyways, that's enough of that book. As you can tell, I really enjoyed it, and I think you will too. So the next book that I really enjoyed was The Illustrated Man by Ray Bradbury. Unfortunately, once again, I do not have the hard copy with me. That is only because I returned it to the library. It was a really good book, and I sometimes wish that I could just reread it. So, what is it about? It is a compilation of short stories that all contain a dystopian theme. Once again, the language is amazing. Honestly, I think I'm just a sucker for language and imagery and for beautiful endings. The Illustrated Man checks all of those boxes. The first Ray Bradbury story I read was in my English lit class, and it was called There Will Come Soft Rains. It was one of my favorite stories just because I felt like there was so much to analyze. But anyways, that's besides the point. The Illustrated Man is a really good book, and I think you will enjoy it. I'm convinced that once you pick it up, you won't be able to put it down. So go read it. Now, the fourth book that I really loved was The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. baby. It's possible you've read an excerpt from this book because I know I did, and that is what compelled me to find this book. So that excerpt talks about a fig tree, and it uses that to symbolize the overwhelming pressure to choose a course in life, and how as you continue to mull over all these choices, over all these options, you fail to simply choose one, and that in the end costs you all those options. I'll probably have the excerpt over here. Anyways, it's a beautiful book. I think that's the only novel that Sylvia Plath wrote, so that's a shame. So what is the book about? Let me just say this. It's kind of like a coming of age book. Because like a lot of things happen. I just don't know how to use my words. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say about this book, but I can say that it's good. Now, once again, as is evident by my not holding a book right now, I got the soft copy. I guess I'm not that opposed to soft copy books anymore. Okay, so the next book that I read, another book I've mentioned already on this channel, is The Picture of Dorian Gray, baby. Now, what can I say about this book? I'm beginning to think I simply do not know how to summarize. My English teacher is quaking. You know what? Here's an attempt. The Picture of Dorian Gray explores the descent of one of the main characters, Dorian Gray, into madness. Actually, it's kind of like Macbeth in that sense. Oh damn! It's kind of like Macbeth because it shows the descent from a kind of likable character to one that you begin to absolutely detest. So yes, the Picture of Dorian Gray, or rather the painting, acts as kind of a mirror, or rather a depiction of Dorian Gray's soul. And honestly, it's pretty darn good. I've read it like 3 times already and I still don't know how to summarize it. Anyways, so yes, it's kind of dark, but it's also kind of funny. Honestly, it's like Shakespeare, I'm telling you. Whatever, you'll enjoy it. The Runaway Jury by John Grisham is another book that I love. I feel like I've talked about this book before. Is this all I do on my channel? I just talk about books? Damn. It really is my only personality trait. Oh my god. Anyways, yes, The Runaway Jury. It's a novel by John Grisham. I'm sure John Grisham is like a household name at this point. You probably know him. He's that lawyer who decided to write books. I aspire to be him. Anyways, so this book is pretty good. It's a little bit more lighthearted compared to everything else I've mentioned on this list. At the end, you'll feel very vindicated, probably. My sister said she felt like she wasted her time when she finished it. But I really liked it. It follows a court case between giant tobacco companies and I guess victims of these companies. It shows us what both sides go through to secure, to grab, to acquire the perfect jury that will deliver them their verdict or their desired verdict. I know that describing it might not sound particularly interesting, but you see, that's the catch, okay? I think that John Grisham did a very good job of captivating the reader because in my opinion, this subject matter would otherwise be very boring. However, I was over here taking a break from reading actual law cases by reading about a case. I was absolutely riveted. I don't know if I'm just exposing myself for reading instead of actually studying. Next book, Anne of Green Gables. Y'all, the love I have for this book, unmatched. I read this book with the biggest grin on my face because the story is just so endearing. She's this quirky character and it's so funny and cute to see the mischief that she causes and gets herself into. It's not a serious book at all. It's just like a calm, what a long day I've had, let me just relax and unwind kind of book. If you'd like me to ramble once again about more books I liked, let me know. But right now we're gonna wrap it up with Emma. Of course I was gonna wrap it up with Jane Austen. We love Jane Austen in this household. I cannot make it any clearer. This book has everything I love about a Jane Austen novel. A witty main character as well as, a slow burn in romance. You know your girl's romantic, okay? But as for why you should read this book, look, I have one answer for you. 'Cause Jane Austen wrote it. That is all you need, okay? She never misses. Anyways, so that concludes this video. I'm gonna go take a nap and reevaluate my major. Bye. I have an hour of footage to edit. This is fun.